entirely different thing. What does awareness means? Now you notice that most things that happen out in the street is not one in one.
No, ever.
Not face. It's always going to be what you call ambush attack.
Right.
Right.
Blindsides.
So that means your awareness. You got to be totally aware of it. Okay. Like, I didn't bring my knife because I know that you guys might feel funny about it.
We wouldn't have cared. We were just typical.
I usually.
Well, we heard stories about you, so we wouldn't.
We'll find.
We wouldn't worry.
We'll be safe. Everyone knows his face. They'll find the murderer.
But the thing is, I have my own way of looking at things.
Right.
And like some people, normally when they teach, my way of teaching a screamer is not from here.
Right.
I never touch from there, because the thing is, most people when they get mad, the first place they go to is your head.
Right.
I don't. I go from here, right upwards, because my hand is always going to be down. By
Right.
the time I do this, it's telegraph.
It's too late. Yeah.
Telegraph. Because by the time you do that, I'm coming in. So right from here, the minute your hand go up or even move, boom, I'm cutting upwards. Because my knee will cut, boom, inside.
Right.
You see what I mean? So that's my first three movements.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I get cut, I get upward strike, slice, and boom, down. Then if I come inside with five and the next to it, cut down and poke again. You see what I mean? So
You're a scary man. So let me. I have to ask this because it came up with Malia, and
Is it
he and
the
I have
chain
always-
thing?
Huh?
The chain thing?
Yeah. So one night you guys are going somewhere, and some guy comes out and starts whatever, and you tell Malia, stay in the car, and you got. I want to hear this story because I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, what
I
happened?
want to hear the other part of that she doesn't.
it was three sectional staff.
You.
Yeah, these guys were following us. We were having some problems with this particular person in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, Denver.
I was never defeated because during that time I was one of the top 10 fighters in the United States. Right?
Wow.
So we were driving home from school, and we were in my international travel car. It's a big car, and Malia was in the car. I was in the car, and I think the two kids was in the car back, and this car come pulling on the side over here, and he was giving all kinds of shit, and I knew who they were.
So you did know him, okay.
Yeah. Malia wasn't familiar with that because I was trying to keep the family out of it.
Right.
You see what I mean? It was my war, not one of hers.
Right.
So we pull over onto the side over here, and I say, "You stay here in the car. I'm coming inside." I come out with my tree section. I'm ready to go. They see this and there. I don't know what happened, but they took off, and then police came. So the police was telling me, and she don't remember this. The police was looking at me and said, "What is that for?" And I said, "Well, it's a Chinese weapon." They never seen a true sectional step before.
Right.
Yeah.
They're familiar with the nunchakus.
Yeah.
Right?
But they didn't know what
did
three-step.
And they said, "Well, how do you do that?" I said, "Well, you let me demonstrate. You're not going to shoot me, right?" So I go over there and go, bam, 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 boom, bam, whoop, catch it and put it back. They look at it and say, "Where's your school at?"
My God.
I think one of them ended up joining or something like that. I can't remember.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we had that.
So that was a good.
But
that was a
I
true
want
story.
to, if you're willing to share, what was the issue?
What's that?
What was the issue?
With those
Why
guys.
did you have that war with them?
Okay. I don't know if I should use this guy's name. He's already dead though, but I don't know.
No, you don't have to if you don't
We'll
want
just say
to.
that guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
That guy. Well, it's in the book, and I put it in.
Okay.
We'll find that guy's name
And we'll
do a follow-up video.
But that guy actually brought Malia and I up to Denver, Colorado.
Right.
But first, before I get into that one,
Okay.
Malia and I were competing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I was defending champion. I had won the championship,
Right.
the North American national champion, something this way. And I was fighting in that tournament, and this guy had 6 or 7 black belts in my division, big division, because you had all the people from all over the United States.
Right.
Right.
So I fought in that tournament over there, and one particular guy, was really cocky, and I had beat him so bad that he kept following me around. Eventually became one of my students.
I love it. I love it.
Eventually, he became one of my students, and the rest of the school, they were always talking about me and everything, and their style was called kaju,
Right. Just kaiju.
just kaju,
Yeah.
right? And mine one was kaju kempo,
Right.
right? See? So they said, "What's the difference?" Oh well, we got the boxing, we got the kung fu, and other kind of stuff. Yeah. So the guy invited me to come to Denver, Colorado, but he would also come down to San Leandro, where I was, and visit us. And I introduced him to Emperado and everything else this way, and we became so like friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to come up to Denver, Colorado, and teach us and open up a school and run my school. All right. Good opportunity at that particular time.
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Because Malia and I was teaming up together. I was going through a divorce. She was going into a divorce, and we needed to get away from the Bay Area.
Okay.
So that would have been
it made good sense.
Yeah.
start a new life together. Yeah. So we went as Malia and Al across because nobody knew that we wasn't married yet. Because common law at
Yeah.
that time
Yeah.
wasn't
Wasn't a thing, yeah.
the thing, yeah.
right. It was taboo, right? So we just went over there and said, "I'm Malia," and that's
Just use my name.
Yeah, it's not Marylou, so it's good. Nobody knows you as Malia.
Right.
Come on, come
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah. So we moved up there, and being up there for about 3 months, 4 months, yeah, I began to hear stories and know about this individual. And the reason why he wanted me to come over and take over his school was because he was being indicted.
Oh my God.
He was going to jail
Uh-huh.
on account that I didn't know this, indecent liberties with minors.
What?
His school was used as recruiting for young kids,
Right.
molestation and
A
everything.
predator
Yeah.
den.
Yeah. you
Right.
see.
Wow. That's
So,
crazy.
so I had found out about that. You see, and one of the guys, the manager, I was so pissed off. He was a little bigger than me. I go right into this office. I pick him up and I lift him up. I don't know where I had my strength. I was really pissed off.
Right.
And I tell me the truth. What is going on? He says, "Oh yeah, he's going to jail." I said, "Exactly why?" He said, "Because of
Yeah, these things with the kid.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, "I quit.
Kids.
I had no place to go now, right?
Right.
No place to go." So what happened was just that one of his students who had broke away had set up a school about 10 miles away. So he offered me to go and teach with him. So I went there. I was there, and eventually the Tracy's organization, and it all happened within 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
The Tracy organization knew that I was working in the school, and during the daytime I was working as a construction worker
Okay.
on a building a dog track, right?
Wow, right.
In Colorado. And when the Tracy brothers found out that I was available, right, they offered me a school.
Nice.
To take over the school and go under the Tracy franchise. They sent me to Baltimore for 2 weeks. I came back supercharged. And that school, I built it up all within a year and a half. It was just went way up.
Wow.
Now the competition was just that and I was competing now in the mountain area.
Right.
And I was,
Yeah, you from Albuquerque now to that
listed
circuit.
as the #1 fighter in that area.
Jeez.
Yeah? So people started coming into my school, even students from him. That's where the problem came.
So that, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So when you had over 20-something black belts come over,
Right.
his hardcore people got pissed off, right? Now, his school was fantastic, really beautiful school. I never seen a school like that with saunas and you have wet and dry jacuzzis and
Wow, that's
beautiful.
crazy.
And inside, like his office area was like a goddess, a Greek goddess temple, like
Jeez.
naked statues. And,
Oh my God.
And then you have the long
Why?
drapes,
That's good.
It's a little gaudy.
Naked. You got the money, but
naked, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just,
Well, a lot of the things he had what we would call the Midnight Express. This group of people used to go, and Denver was just building up too.
Yeah.
They would go to construction sites at the night
Jeez.
And you know,
Just
they would
snag
take,
whatever
they would
they
take
want.
what it is, they get, and
Oh
then,
my God.
right,
Yeah.
right. So he had everything, so he built up. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so the school was nice. I mean, it was. I mean, you know how they put some plants in shopping centers.
Yeah.
Well, those places where they were building the shopping centers lost their plants because it was in his school.
So just a lineage of illegal activity from the grandmaster to the student.
A beautiful school. And I said, man, these guys was doing good.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the other activities, right?
Wow.
But so that crew that pissed off,
Right.
Because they lost a lot of the guys come inside, and that's when.
They didn't have anybody steal stuff anymore.
Well, that's why some of them came over.
Right.
I mean, they were tracking me. They wanted to stop me. Yeah. So, and a lot of incidents happening because we had I mean, now you're talking the 60s now, right?
Yeah.
People get hurt. At
It was
that time,
turf wars then, huh?
Really hurt there.
Yeah, it became
And-
a turf war.
Yeah, and one of the guys that was in his group came over to me, but he was also enforcer for the Casanosas.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
He was an enforcer?
Yeah, he was one of those guys that would go collect money.
Cosa Nostra?
Yeah, mafia, right?
Yeah,
Out of-
yeah,
and
yeah.
his family was really tied up in New
Oh
Jersey
my
and
God.
everything.
Yeah.
So I mentioned his name, but I won't mention it here. Yeah.
No, we won't.
But he passed
was
away
a goon.
anyway. Yeah. But he became a real good friend of mine and a real good student. In other words, he became my dark angel.
Right.
He just watched over me and everything. And when we had the kind of incidents, a gun started coming out and everything.
Oh, shit.
And Marylou remembered the point at that time when we were competing. We had a house here. We were competing in California at Tony Ramos tournament that was held at the Coliseum. And my name came over the loudspeaker to go up to the podium.
Yeah.
So I go up to the podium and I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Hey, you gotta get on the phone because something happened in Denver, Colorado." What happened? Well, we had our house. We left on a Friday night, right? And we had my two boys, Craig and Mark, be babysitting someplace else. So what happened was just that the car that we had, the Porsche, was parked in the front.
Porsche.
Yeah,
course.
we had a 911 T green Porsche.
Oh, I hate you.
That was one of the cars we had.
One of the cars.
Anyway,
So he was doing good.
He's doing good.
yeah. I mean, the school that I had over there was just coming up.
Right.
I eventually ended up with six schools in Denver.
Wow.
Right. So I had a lot of good students.
Can I ask for Balato?
We were all in black uniform. Right?
Oh, geez.
Of course.
Black guys
Of
were black.
course.
Right, and all in black uniform, and all the white uniforms with the karate school, the taekwondo schools, we beat them all. So this is why there was a lot of jealousy and hatred. Right?
Ah.
A lot of the champions came inside. We had a top team, the TEP fighter, TEP forms, everything. And when I did the Western U.S. Nationals there, my training was rated as a full 5-star.
Nice.
So everybody started coming in. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, and of course, then the Marylou by that time, was number one in that. And
Well,
I-
she's-
Former
yeah, she's
champions,
winning-
yeah.
yeah,
She was
she's
winning
winning
trophies,
everything.
yeah.
So we in this one here we became the
Power
son-
couple.
the Sonny and Cher
Yeah.
of that era. So there was a lot of jealousy going on. So there's so much things that were going on there that when we came back, Denver overnight snowed. So we had to stay for the tournament on Saturday and come back Sunday. When we came back on Sunday, there was about a foot of snow all over the place, right? And what had happened was just that Leonard and his group had put plastic in the front door and the windows because Friday night we weren't there because we were gone already. 3 people from the school came up and boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
Took out the door, took out the window, and just everything. They just shotgun my house, thinking that maybe I was going to be coming out and sticking my head because they saw the car there.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Oh,
You see,
holy
so-
crap.
Yeah, so it's like we wasn't there, and we couldn't do anything until Tuesday or Thursday, Tuesday or Wednesday when the snow melted,
Right.
and then they sealed the shells down.
Jeez.
And he said the way the thing is going, the angle. He said if I would have stuck my head out,
Anywhere you would have got, yeah.
I would have got hurt. You see what I mean? So that's when.
And
the war-
this was the thing they allowed, or that they were. I mean, Jesus, this is crazy.
And
Yeah,
this is
and-
for
and-
just
and that's-
having more students in them.
Yeah, and that's when the war started. Because
Right.
of
Oh,
that.
I can imagine.
Because that time, Malia was panicking. She said, "Let's move, let's move." I said, "Nobody's going to make a move." I said, "They're coming hard on me. The hell with it. I'm fighting back." On my school, I had two people over there stay on the top of the roof with guns. Right? They camped overnight. I mean, we were just going into a total war.
Right.
And the guy that was from their group that joined me and became my dark angel, he actually was going to blow the opposite schools out of the where he had gone into the roof of where the office of that school was, and were getting ready to plant C4s and everything and just take the whole school out. Yeah? But that never occurred because that person, prior to that thing getting done, he and his students were arrested for illegal transportation of firearms across state lines.
Oh my God! What kind of people do you associate with, sir? Holy shit, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Those are the people he needed at the time.
Yeah.
Can't judge him.
Dude, we're getting this from Sifu Allen. Dude, my mind is blown. This is crazy.
So everything started to happen,
Right.
and those three people that were there to
That shot up your house.
they didn't make it through the year.
We'll leave it at that.
They,
We're just gonna.
Yeah.
They just didn't make it.
My guardian angel took care of the problem. Yeah, so somebody
Wow.
can tell you. Yes, I mean. So yeah, that was pretty heavy.
Statute of limitation.
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
nothing.
We,
Well, yeah.
We are ignorant of the truth and the fact that
But,
any utterances on this are the sole propriety of the individual uttering them.
But this is the 1960s now.
Yeah, shit like that happened all the time, I guess.
Yeah, and you're talking about Denver, Colorado at that time. It was still cowboy frontier land.
Oh,
You know? I
Yeah.
mean, it's
So
like-
everyone had a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to have when I drove in my car, and especially when I had my SUV, like
Yeah.
I had a rack and my gun. In the rack, you know what I mean?
So
it's
you were a
like
redneck.
that. Yeah, I know we are. Everybody.
everybody was a redneck over
Yeah,
there.
everybody was. I mean, if you wasn't a redneck before, man, your neck, if it was red, for mine, it just turned purple. so it's just like, I mean,
So
yeah.
let's shift from that because that's some scary shit.
Oh my God.
I have to ask you about Mark because of who he is now, even who he was when
When he had hair.
when he was doing the movies, Strength, the No Retreat stuff, and I mean, when I saw him in the first movies, I was like, "Well, who is this guy?" It never dawned on me, DeCosco, that it was your son, and then as years went on, and we didn't even know Marylou, when she came on, we didn't. He goes, "What? You're Mark's mom?" Was like, "What the hell? What was all this coming?" So obviously, even before I talked to Marylou on our interview, maybe about a month before, I had heard or I had watched an interview that Mark did with somebody, and he was saying, "Yeah, my mom, man, she was so strict. She made me sit in a horse stand for all day and whatever." Like, what? So let's talk about Mark a little bit because personal jabber.
Were you the fun parent?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, to have mom do that. I mean, she was a badass. She said she didn't care. She was she treated him like everybody else, and maybe harder because he's
of
son,
the relationship. Yeah.
So how does that all play out on your view?
Well, she did to Mark as well as all the other students like I did to her.
Oh.
I would put her in the horse stands and just. Sometimes I even forgot that she was in the horse stand. Come back and say, "Oh, you still here?"
Wow,
That's so wrong.
oh, so what led to the demotion? Come on, she won't tell us.
Oh yeah.
She became a white belt and
After
she said-
being
yeah.
a black belt for a while.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is, let me tell you that
Malia, we're asking, and if he says good, if not, we understand. But go ahead.
Hey.
all things happen for a reason. Nothing happens out of context.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But sometimes, you know, you when you do something, people look at it as being, oh man, that's really bad. But out of that badness became good things that happened to her.
That's true.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because had that not happened, I don't think she would have elevated.
To where
She would have just been comfortable plateauing out. So when you are faced with something that happens into your life, you reassess
right,
the values that you have,
and you, hopefully you grow from it.
and you pivot.
Yeah, and you
And she did pivot.
Go.
yeah,
And the pivoting point for her gave her more exposure to life, because you become so comfortable in a zone that you don't make the kind of improvement.
right.
For me, it was the same thing too. You know, we were young, right? And we grew up in a culture at that particular time. Now, you have drugs, alcohol, rock and roll.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah,
That's 1960s.
yeah.
And when you get into that
And
kind,
even into the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Even into the 70s. It,
oh
it
yes,
stayed that way for.
yeah, of course. I mean, you know, wearing big bell-bottom pants, plaid pants, and you know, lime-colored pants, and all this kind of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
because,
yeah.
you know,
Velour.
yeah, it was totally different that time, you know, in the music. So, you know, you are influenced by that. And going from white belt to that, it was just because I would say actions that for me was I didn't approve of, you know, and both of us weren't angels,
Right.
you know. I'm guilty of things as well as she was, but we were stupid and thought that, well, you know, so forth, and out of my pride and maybe being hurt,
Right.
I said, you excommunicated, right? And that was it, you know. We just, and then it went up to 15, maybe 20 years, and really we never talked for a while.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, my, let me see, what it would be, number 4 wife? No, maybe my 3rd wife.
Is this
Wait a
of a
minute.
dozen, or what do we?
Yeah, I think it
How
was
many
my
wives
first-
are we
my
talking
first
about?
wife. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4.
No. Well, we'll get into that later.
Read it in the book.
But anyway, my 4th wife and my son Mark, you know, really were talking, and he says, "It's time that Dad, you know, just forgive."
Yeah.
But I'm really a strange person because I can forget. I mean, I can forgive,
Yeah.
but I cannot forget things.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not because you forget things and you repeat the same thing again. You know, so they kept telling me, you know, that Mom did this and did that, and you know, both you are wrong and everything, and you know, you should just put aside and put it aside.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, that made my son happy, you know, and if he was happy, that was fine.
Right.
Then I said, okay, that's all right. Whatever it is, everything is forgiving, you know. Then we just retain, and then you know, the relationship begins to start building back up.
Right.
Okay.
Are you guys okay now?
Yeah,
Good friends?
of course. I was talking to her this morning.
You know, and I'm not trying to bust you up, Malia, because I love you and you could hurt me. But I called her a couple of weeks ago. Hey, we're going to go see Al. You know, I said, hey, is there anything you would like me to bring out there for him? You know, from being in the mainland. She goes, all right, give me a minute to think about it. Sorry, she didn't send anything.
She's still thinking about it.
I
I
guess.
think she's still thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't like I said, I don't want to bust
Yeah.
her out.
No,
She-
no,
you know,
no.
I love her.
Already did, but
No,
yeah,
I
okay,
mean-
whatever.
I mean, that's you know, she got mad at me because of the book because I put the reason why. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she does hate that book, by the way. She did make mention of that.
I brought a whole book together in Portugal. We were in
Yeah.
Portugal, right? And the books was all up for sale. She said, I'm going to buy every single one of them. I said, thank you. And she said, and I'm going to throw it in the trash. I said, that's okay. That's as long as you pay for
As
it.
long as you pay for it, I don't care what you
Full
do.
price.
Full price, no discount.